Hey everyone, welcome back to Mortgage and Real Estate News for Dallas, Fort Worth, and beyond. I'm Christina Moa, and today I'm here with one of my favorite co-hosts and fellow industry expert and enthusiast, Laura Mitchell. Hi Laura, how are you doing?
Hey, Christine, I'm good, thanks. Excited to dig into what's happening in Fort Worth right now. It feels like every week there's a new twist in the market, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And, we talked last episode about the whole DFW market kind of hitting pause, but Fort Worth is doing its own thing. We're seeing more inventory. Prices are stabilizing a bit, but honestly, it's still a seller's market, especially compared to Dallas or Parker counties. I mean, Fort Worth proper had over 1,000 home sales and just about 4.2 months of inventory. That's still tight.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're starting to see those price-reduced signs pop up, but it's not like buyers suddenly have the upper hand. Paul Epperly from the Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors said it best. There's a curve in the road, but we're not in a buyer's market yet. We'd need a lot more inventory for that.
Exactly. And Paul also pointed out how this is a real learning curve for a lot of newer realtors. They haven't really had to work in a market that's not just listed and it's gone in a day. Now, you actually have to know how to price a home competitively, and that's a skill some folks are just now picking up.
It's so true. And the micro-local thing is huge right now. Like, you can't just say DFW market. It's really about the neighborhood, even the subdivision. Southlake is not Burleson, and buyers from out of state, they don't know those differences. I mean, Christine, you had that client in Southlake and another in Burleson, right? Totally different strategies.
Oh, for sure. I always tell people you can't use the same playbook everywhere. As a mortgage loan officer and realtor, whenever I do transactions for both roles, which I love to do, I get to see the impact of using very specific strategies. For example, I was working with a client looking in South Lake, and we had to be super aggressive, like over asking, quick close, the whole thing. But then I had another client in Lubbock, and we actually had room to negotiate, even got some closing costs covered that I applied towards buying down the rate. It's all about knowing the end-to-end bargain points you can apply for a specific area.
That's why having a local expert matters so much. Real estate is always local, but right now it's micro-local. You need someone who knows the fine details, not just the big picture. So let's talk about the elephant in the room and your other area of expertise, mortgage rates. Right now, 30-year fixed rates are hovering around 6.8%. And I mean, I wish we had better news, but there's not much relief coming soon, right? Even the optimistic forecasts are saying maybe early 2026 for a real drop, but we're not going back to those 3% rates anytime soon.
Yeah, as you know, mortgage lending is my extra happy place. And it's true, mortgage rates are really shaping how people buy right now. I've noticed, and I'm sure you have too, Laura, that the number one thing buyers are asking for is a seller paid rate buy down. It's like, can the seller help me get my payment down? And honestly, it can be a win-win. If a seller gives a $10,000 concession to buy down the rate, it might actually cost them less than dropping the price by the same amount once you factor in closing costs and all that.
Exactly. I just had a client in Tarrant County, first-time buyer, super nervous about the monthly payment. We negotiated a $10,000 seller concession, and it made all the difference. Instead of lowering the price, we used that money to buy down the rate, and suddenly the payment was manageable. The seller was happy too because they didn't have to take a big price cut. It's one of those rare situations where both sides walk away feeling like they won.
And I think it's important for buyers to know you can ask for these things. Don't just focus on price. Think about what's going to help you long term. And sellers, if you're listening, be open to creative solutions. The market's not as wild as it was, but it's still competitive, especially in places like Fort Worth and Tarrant County. You got to be flexible.
Yeah, and I'll add, don't get stuck waiting for rates to drop. Last year, we were all saying, marry the house, date the rate. But now it's more like, marry the house, marry the rate. You can always refinance if things change, but if you find the right house, don't let the rate scare you off. Just get creative with your negotiations.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about what's coming down the pipeline, literally. There's this new 50% tariff on copper imports that was just announced for July 2025, as copper is a huge part of new home construction, wiring, plumbing, all of it. If those costs go up, it's going to hit builders and eventually buyers right in the wallet.
Yeah, and that's on top of everything else. Even though DFW is still ranked high for new housing units, the number of new approvals in 2024 is actually down almost 8% from 2022. So we're not building enough to keep up with demand, and now material costs might go up even more. It's like every time we think we're catching a break, something else pops up.
Exactly. And I keep thinking, even if rates do come down in a year or two, if the cost of building keeps rising, it's just going to offset any savings buyers might get from lower rates. It's a tough balance. I mean, we want more inventory, but if it's too expensive to build, that's not going to help affordability.
Right, and it's not just about rates or prices, it's the whole package. When I'm advising clients, I try to help them see the big picture. Like, yes, rates might drop, but if material costs go up or if inventory stays tight, you're still going to be competing for homes. It's a lot to juggle, but that's why we do what we do, right?
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, just remember there's no perfect time to buy, but there are smart ways to navigate whatever the market throws at you. We'll keep tracking these trends and sharing what we learn so you can make the best decisions for your situation.
Couldn't have said it better. Always a pleasure chatting with you, Christine, and thanks to everyone listening. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next update. We'll be back soon with more on what's happening in DFW and beyond.
Thanks, Laura. Always a pleasure. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, Christine. Bye, everyone.